Ladies and gentlemen, the city council meeting will begin in 1 minute. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the city council meeting will begin in 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, the city council meeting will begin in 30 seconds.
This regular council meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Norris, please call the roll.
Mayor McCollum.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Everyone is present. Please note that there is an addition on the agenda. Please add 2 reports on bids 12A and 12B. 12A is for the bridge, 12B is for the pocket parks. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Next is the consent agenda. These are routine items presented without discussion as a single item. A, regular council meeting minutes of March 4th, 2019. B, special council meeting minutes of March 4th. C, Parks and Recreation Commission meeting minutes of December 19th. D, request to cancel the regularly scheduled Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of March 26th. E, licenses, new and renewals is submitted for March 18th. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We have a visiting elected official, State Representative Robert Wittenberg. Thank you so much for coming. And answering our questions.
Thank you. You're already ready for me. Let's move this around here. Wanted to come chat with you. I was actually planning to come during this meeting, and the mayor actually reached out to me requesting my presence as well to go over some of the things going on in Lansing. Before I get into that, let me just talk about our upcoming community conversations. We've been doing joint community conversations. Me and our state senator, Jeremy Moss, are doing joint community conversations. We were on, was it meetings, was that a meeting with the manager? Is that the program?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we did meeting with the manager. Jeremy and I are like frickin' frack, or I don't know what, we're inseparable. We work really well together, which is
It's a really
which is great.
good idea to do them together.
Yes. So, yeah, we've been doing that. We did one in Hazel Park, in Ferndale, in Huntington Woods. I think those are the 3 for now. And then the next one's upcoming will be on Monday, April 1st at 2 o'clock in Royal Oak Township at the Township Hall. And then Tuesday, April 2nd at 7 p.m. here in Oak Park at the Oak Park Community Center.
What time?
So 7 o'clock, Oak Park Community Center, Tuesday, April 2nd. And again, it'll be a joint meeting with Senator Moss. And let me see here. The last one actually is in May in Pleasant Ridge, but that's down the road. So again, those are open to the public. Anyone that wants to come join, you can go to any one of the communities. You do not have to live in one of the communities. And it's
Tell us what happens at
Sure.
these meetings so we know what to come for.
Yep. So it is a really informal setting. We will give an update as to what's going on in Lansing. Jeremy will talk, Senator Moss, will talk about what he has going on, and I'll talk about what I have going on. The legislation that some of the bigger ticket items that are happening in Lansing. But mostly we're there just to answer questions. It's kind of a free-flowing discussion where people can offer suggestions, ask questions. It's every one of them is different because depending on who shows up and they have questions about particular issues, it's different every time we're there. Occasionally there's some local issues that they'll bring up to us, and we'll refer them over to their wonderful council members and mayor and city manager, all the employees here in Oak Park. But it's a really good discussion, and so we encourage people to come out. As I always tell people, I'm trying to be as accessible as possible. I want people to know that I'm here to support them and help them if they ever need anything. And so that's why we do these usually twice a month. And again, there's 7 different communities that comprise the 27th district, so we rotate every month. We try to do 2 every month and rotate. We do 1 during the day and one in the evening, so that if you work during the day, you can come in the evening, or vice versa. But this is, again, a way for us to kind of report back what's going on in Lansing and then open it up for a discussion, so if people have any questions. So those are the dates, again, that are upcoming. And actually, before I forget, if you can't make it to one of those, you can always reach out to me. Call me at 517-373-0478, or email. It's robertwittenberg@house.mi.gov. Or you can probably just look online.
Would you repeat your phone number?
517-373-0478. So just briefly then, I'll try to be as brief as possible, but committee assignments. So I'm on tax policy, on financial services, and I'm the minority vice chair for insurance. And I know insurance rates and auto insurance is something that people have been wanting to talk about, and I know it's a big issue, and I've actually been part of bipartisan packages of legislation to try to reduce our auto insurance rates. In years past, I've served on the insurance committee, and we always deal with bills that relate to auto insurance here in the state. This year, they actually put together a separate select committee on auto insurance. So anything related to auto insurance is not going to come through the insurance committee. It's going to be through that separate committee. Bless you. Through a separate committee. So just FYI, but obviously, I'm still keeping tabs of things. We're working to reduce auto insurance rates. So, we'll keep you posted on what's going on. So those are the committees that I'm on. Some of the legislation that I've been working on, legislation I've been working on in the past. I'm the founder and chair of our Gun Violence Prevention Caucus, so there are a few things that we're working on. Obviously, respecting people's Second Amendment rights, been doing what we can to try to mitigate gun violence here and prevent tragedies from happening, both these mass shootings and also suicide prevention. It's a big issue when you're talking about gun violence. 2/3 of gun deaths are suicide, and so that's something we're trying to work on. And what you've heard about in other states called red flag laws, which is called extreme risk protection order. So if someone is a threat to themselves or somebody else, that we have some kind of recourse that law enforcement or family members could petition a judge, so there is due process because a judge has to grant it, but it's an order to be able to temporarily seize their weapons and prohibit them from buying new weapons. And this is on the books in 11 other states, and we have studies that show that these kind of laws save lives. So that was one of the big rollouts that we've had, that I had with that legislation. Also working on a graduated income tax proposal. Again, that would have to go to the ballot. So I can get into that if people show up to our community conversation. We can talk more about the specifics. But what I wanted to chat and spend some time with today, and then answer any questions you have, is the rollout of the budget. And I know this is on the talk of, everyone's kind of talking about this with Governor Whitmer and the budget she came out with. And probably the one issue people want to talk about is the 45-cent gas tax increase. And so I was actually just today in Troy, and Governor Whitmer was there doing a budget town hall talking about the importance of this budget. And I give her a lot of credit. So let me preface by saying that this is only the beginning, right? So the governor comes out and offers up their budget. So Governor Whitmer offered up her first budget. And what happens is it has to go through the appropriations process. So ultimately, the legislature is weighing in on this. The House and the Senate have to ultimately agree on something and send it to the governor's desk. So what the budget looks like by the time it's signed into law is probably not what it looks like currently as what was proposed. And so keep that in mind. But part of also why we're doing these community conversations is where people can come talk to us about what their thoughts are on the budget and the proposal by the governor. And so what I will say is everyone agrees that our roads and our infrastructure is atrocious in this state. We are at the very bottom around the country of our per capita investment in infrastructure. I don't have to tell you guys about it here in our local communities. And so something needs to be done. And so as the governor talked about today, there's been a shell game in Lansing for a long time, where you're just kind of moving money from one pot to the next and just shifting it around. So there's money from the general fund that goes to fix our roads. There's money from the school aid fund that goes to the general fund, and it's just moved around all the time. And when you look at our general fund, so there's only one. The general fund is kind of that's the money that we actually have some say as to where it goes. Right, our budget's about $60 billion roughly. Our general fund is about $10.7 billion, and that 10.7 is the only one that we really have any kind of say. Everything else is already spoken for. It's coming from the federal government, and it's earmarked for something specifically, or it's constitutionally going to some particular place. So we really only have $10.7 billion that we have discretion over. And when you look at that number, the $10.7 billion is the exact same amount that we had in the year 2000. Not indexed for inflation, but just the budget we have with discretionary funds in the state is the same as it was in 2000. And obviously our costs of things have gone up. And so we have not invested properly in our state, and that has been an issue on both sides of the aisle. This is, no one is claiming that this is a Republican or a Democratic issue. For the longest period of time, we just have not invested properly. And so what Governor Whitmer has proposed is saying, I'm drawing this picture here so you know, right, that this is what it's going to take. If we really want to get serious about fixing our roads, it's going to be $2.5 billion a year that we need to invest to fix our roads. And so this is how we get there, is that 45-cent gas tax. And she's saying it to everyone. If you have a better idea, I'm willing to listen, but this is what we were looking at. And one of the main reasons is because as I go back and talk about how it's a shell game, we keep moving stuff away, and future legislatures can continue moving and taking money out of different pots. The gas tax is constitutionally guaranteed to go to the road, so we can't touch that. And so that's why when, you're talking about raising the corporate income tax, you would have to go from 6% to 18%. But again, that just goes into the general fund, and who knows where that's going to go. And so that's her push, is saying that this money will go and is earmarked specifically for our infrastructure and our roads in this state. So that's kind of where she came from with that number. And then I understand that this is a regressive tax. Believe me, that's why I'm pushing for a graduated income tax. I would love to see a more fair tax system in our state. The federal government and 33 states have a graduated income tax, and that's why I'm fighting to get one implemented here in the state of Michigan. But that's amending our Constitution. That's not something that's going to happen, and our roads are going to continue to deteriorate if we don't do anything. And so because we know that this is, and because she knows that this is a bit of a regressive tax, there are a couple things that she's also doing to try to lessen the harm, if you will, of some of our lower income or fixed income families. And so there's a doubling of the earned income tax credit, which helps our working poor, if you will. And there's also a push to repeal the retirement tax, which was implemented in 2011, 2012 under Governor Snyder. And so this is something that I think every single person who ran for the legislature, and even everyone running to become governor, talked about eliminating our pension tax. So those are a couple things that are built in, and additionally, the cost that people are incurring right now as they're driving, and they're blowing out tires and windshields and all these different things that are causing them a lot of money to repair their cars, is kind of a hidden fee that people have to pay. So we have to be serious about what we're going to do. We have to make this investment in our state. And so this is what the governor came out with. Like I said, what's been proposed is probably not what it's going to look like by the time it gets to me and other legislators to vote on the House floor. It's going to go through the appropriations process. I don't serve on the appropriations committee, but obviously I'm in contact with my colleagues that are serving on that committee. So that's kind of basically what I wanted to chat with you about. The other thing is that with this budget, again, if we're taking the money and putting it directly to the roads and we're not taking money out of the general fund, she's actually proposing the largest increase to school aid funding in over 20 years. And so we're looking at over $500 million to go to our schools, our K-12 schools. And it also devotes all money from the K-12, from our school aid fund, I should say, to K-12. Because years ago, under Governor Granholm, they actually took some of the money out of school aid and started giving it to higher education. And so there's again, as we're moving pots around, that's what happened in the past. So there's a lot of moving parts here. I apologize for speaking for a while talking about this. Obviously, I can talk for a lot longer, but just want to give you a little bit of an overview of what is being proposed, and again, want to hear from people and what their thoughts are. And so, again, this budget, we're looking at it again, it raises the gas tax, but that gives us money to go back to our schools. Also, when we're talking about our drinking water and our environment, there's money that can go there. So there are a lot of different things that are built into this budget. So that's my not so brief update on the budget. And with that, if there's anything you want me to dive into a little deeper, let me know. If you have any questions while I'm here,
I think
let me
we
know.
will all come to your April 2nd, 7 o'clock Oak Park Community Center.
Yep. Yeah, so I'll be there, like I said, with Senator Moss. Some of this will be hashed out a little more by then as it goes through the appropriations process. We're hoping that the budget will be done on time for your sake, right? As you guys are setting your budget here, it's important for you to know. Same thing with our local school, with all our school districts. I'm hoping that is the case. We have divided government, which can sometimes make it difficult. But I can tell you that we've all committed to staying as long as it takes to get it done. I'm not, we usually have part of the summer we're in district doing work. We have all committed to staying in Lansing as long as it takes to get this done because this budget is so important for all of our local communities, for our school districts, for everyone here in the state. So you have my commitment to do the work that's necessary.
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, I do have a question for him,
Yes.
if that's okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
The money that you were talking about being earmarked to fix the roads,
Mm-hmm.
is any of that money going to go back to the city so that we can fix our roads also?
Yeah, so part of what they're trying, absolutely. So that's the, what is it, 51, Public Act 51, right? So that's that's a whole nother thing, right? So that's from 1951, and we're looking to to redo how that works in our state here. And so part of her proposal, which will help communities here in Metro Detroit, is based on where people are driving the most. And so there is a push to actually get more money into Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties, because that's where the density is, that's where the people are driving the most, and that is part of the proposal that she has with her budget.
So I understand that the funding now goes by the mile, regardless of where the road is.
Correct.
So a little road up north that gets very little traffic gets the same funding as Woodward Avenue that gets
Correct.
tons and tons of cars.
Yep.
So
So this would be, so that would be based on lanes, right? So like, it's not on how long a highway is or how long a road is, it's how long it is and how wide it is, if that makes sense, right? So you have a 4-lane road here, whereas up in, the Upper Peninsula or somewhere else, you might only have a 2-lane road everywhere in the Upper Peninsula. But they get the same funding based on, the stretch, how far that stretch is. So this is something that is part of her proposal as well. So I appreciate that question.
to make it more equitable so that the roads that get the most use, that get
Yes.
beat up the most, get some more funding.
Absolutely. So, and that's, again, addressing Public Act 51. And part of this proposal as well is that in 5 years, there is a commission that's put together to reevaluate, or to evaluate, I should say, where we are and where we've gone in the last 5 years. I mean, that's something, unfortunately, with Proposal A, there was nothing built in. We know there's an issue with revenue sharing, with some of the things going on with Proposal A and our local communities. You guys all know that all too well. But there's really very little we can do at the legislative level because of term limits, and I'm not going to get into that. But it's not one of these issues that is dire in the minds of a lot of people who serve in the legislature. Obviously, I know because I hear it, City Manager Tungate and all the city managers in this community, all the elected officials in all 7 communities here, I hear it all the time. But so this has that mechanism in place to reevaluate and say, because people ask about electric vehicles and people, it's more fuel efficient vehicles and things like that. That's all part of the discussion, so that we're able to evaluate how this program is working. So that's built in as well.
Nice.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
thank you guys for having me. Thank you for indulging me with that amount of time. I apologize.
We were delighted to hear it
So.
all. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, for anyone listening at home, please, if you have questions or suggestions or concerns, call me and email me. I would love to hear from you. That's how I know kind of where, we're checking the temperature on what people's thoughts are on all the issues we're working on in Lansing. So thank you for your time this evening. Thank you.
Thanks for your amazing public service.
Amen. We have a county commissioner to report, also Nancy Quarles. Thank you for coming.
Madam Mayor, Council, and to the viewing audience, thank you for this opportunity. I'll make mine brief. I will be back with a much longer report when our executive presents our budget. So there'll be a number of things in the budget that we'll be discussing. Just a couple things I want to touch on. Oakland County, and I would like to leave these flyers with you. Oakland County has posted their summer jobs. Many of them in Parks and Rec, our courts, various departments from Treasury, planning. So I want to make sure that the young adults and youth in Oak Park also have an opportunity to apply for them. So I will be leaving these flyers with you. A couple programs I would like to mention that we're working on. The county has now begun to coordinate and work with the Board of Commissioners, the United Way, and our intermediate school district on breakfast for kids. We're piloting it in Southfield, and we'll be bringing it to the other schools in the district. The intent, as most of us know, that students can't learn without eating, and It's supposed to going into the cafeteria at a certain time, and this certain negativeness looked upon students that you need a breakfast. And they're doing it in a way that's more compatible with the students. It's in a cart. They have the fruit, the bars, the other types of food that the kids can just pick up. And with Southfield, they decided to not just leave it out for as they enter, to have it out all day. The things that the various fruit, the various bars, and other items out there. So the students, if they decide that they need a snack, that they can get it to recharge them. Want to mention I now serve on Oakland County's Parks and Recs, and hope that Oak Park will take advantage of some of the resources that the parks have, such as when you're having your festivals, when you're doing your block club, and I attended one of the block clubs picnic last year. We do have slides, jumpers, and other items that the people can get from the park so that they can have those out there for the kids. The parks are also looking for ways to bring more of the activities into the southern part of the county, such as working with the city on expanding any concerts, sharing any stages. They certainly want to, your big 4th of July celebration where the Parks and Rec can work with you on it, and any items or resources that they have, they want to be open to that. Couple other things that I just want to mention is our health division and our health services on Greenfield. I would like to encourage more of the citizens to use it. You can get shots, and you'll find that they're very reasonable price. There are other services from nutrition. They have dietitians there. There are people that you can call and talk to. They even have, and I do have some cards for you, nurse on call if you have a quick question. Unfortunately, our health service building is not being utilized much, and I'm asking the cities that I represent in my district to make sure you don't forget them. If you're traveling and you need to get shots or medication for your passports, that's a great place to do it. And then lastly, as I said, the next time I come to visit, it will be around the budget, and there will be a number of things I'll be looking for, hoping that the cities where we can coordinate and help with the budget, we will look at those items to put into Oakland County's budget. If there's any questions?
No, thank you so much. I think I saw our rec director perk up when you said something about expanding concerts, though.
Yes. That's one of the items that they're really looking at. I guess I'm so tired of winter. I'm looking towards spring and summer. Yes, the Parks and Rec. We can discuss some of those.
Thank you so much. Next, we have item 11A, accounting reports.
Oh.
What, special recognition, just skipped right over. 7, city manager employee recognition. We almost missed you, Ed.
Madam Mayor, if I could, if I could ask Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee to join me at the podium. Before he does speak about our esteemed colleague, Ed Malinchek, I wanted to say a couple of things. And one is, I cannot express to you enough how much we appreciate the hard work and dedication that he gives this community. He is the one who not only serves on the retirement board, but also when it's snowing at 3 in the morning and our roads need to be cleared, he is the one who's here coordinating our employees and working right alongside them in our Department of Public Works. And for that, I very much appreciate everything that you do. It's just goes without saying, but you're an exemplary employee. So Kevin, I know you probably want to share some of those sentiments.
Absolutely, thank you. Eddie Milinchek, as you had mentioned, is a fantastic employee. Shows up all the time. He's here, spends a great amount of time here at Oak Park. Even before it snows, he comes in just to make sure how much it's going to snow and how much he's going to need. But a few things about Eddie is he was a former butcher. If you ever want to know anything about meats and you have about a half hour of time, he's your guy right there. He'll tell you everything you need to know. And similar to Representative Wittenberg and Senator Moss, he has his own frickin' frack. Him and his colleague Scott Lamarb are quite a team down there, do a fantastic job, and we definitely appreciate everything that he does. But let me tell you about Eddie and some of the dedication that he does. There was a couple weeks ago, he was looking for a new car and was out test driving a car on a Saturday, knew that the water crew was in, so he went out there and just checked on him with a car that he was test driving, just to drive by and do that. That's the type of employee he is. He always is wanting to go the extra mile and check on things. He's meticulous and painstakingly detailed, but the things that he does at Public Works and the amount of time and work he puts in is just outstanding and very much so appreciated. So, Eddie, thank you very much. Lori, thank you for sharing him with us. So Lori is also a victim of this. But thank you, Eddie. I truly appreciate all the work that you do here.
Ed and Lori, can we ask you to come up for a photo, please? Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. Take off your coat and...
We might have to put you on the
Yeah.
payroll before the night's over.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is tie day.
Ed also does the sunflower project that is so popular. He does the tree planting with all the kids. And it was, for those of you who weren't in the room and didn't hear, his wife Lori says that he sometimes takes her for romantic rides, looking at how the streets have been plowed. What a guy. Oh, thank you. Okay, now we're on accounting reports. Need a motion to approve payment of an invoice submitted by Howard Schiffman, PC, for legal services retainer for April 1st through June 30th in the total amount of $18,000.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Discussion. A roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Motion carried. Down to item 15.
12A.
So, yep, 12A.
12A.
We just added 12A. Thank
And
you.
12B.
Bridge enhancements and Coolidge Road overpass, 12A. Can't hear it. Even on the mic? Come closer. Okay, will do. So this one is on bridge enhancements. The bridge over 696 at Coolidge kind of looks like a prison bridge with that chicken wire fence and all of that. It just detracts from the look of the city. This is an investment in the way we present ourselves. When you buy a house, you're looking for curb appeal, what the house looks like when you first drive up. This
Point
is
of order, Madam Mayor.
the city.
Point of order.
Yes,
There's no motion on the floor. We can't have discussion without a motion.
yes, sir. We need a motion to accept the bids. Yes,
Want me to
please.
speak on it first?
Yes, go right
Okay.
ahead. You've got it written.
Thank you. In September 18th of 2017, we requested to bid out the I-696 at Coolidge Highway Bridge Enhancement Project, M670. On Thursday, November 8th, 2018, bids were received and open. The low bidder was Z Contractors of Shelby Township, Michigan, with a total amount of $628,238.47. It is recommended that the bridge enhancement at 696 and Coolidge Road Overpass, M670, be awarded to Z Contracting for the total amount of $628,238.47. Funding is available in the Major Street Fund and Major Street Fund fund balance for this project.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this bid?
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion. Yes, Councilmember.
I just want to make it clear for the record that I will be voting against awarding this bid. At our previous meeting, I had voted against continuing with this project because it had grown from $250,000 to $300,000 to some now $750,000. I don't think it's an appropriate use of the city's funds, and I'll be voting against this bid, not just because it's the bidder. I have nothing against the bidder. I have a problem with the project.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
The state has indicated that they might be doing some more work on the bridge at some point in the near future. Do you know what happens if they damage this? Are they going to fix it? Do you know how that works?
Actually, the bridge work that they're proposing to be done is the bridge work over Victoria Park. So that's the bridge that they're proposing to be done. They're not proposing to do any work to the Coolidge Bridge, where this enhancement does take place. But our contract with them for this project, which was previously approved, does leave any liability for the bridge if had any damage be done in our hands. Now, if they were going to do bridge work on that bridge in particular, I think we would have definitely an argument that they would need to put it back as it was.
Okay, so whether they're going to do work on that or not, as of right now, the way the contract is written with the state, I'm not sure I heard you right. Who accepts liability? Is it us or them?
We accept liability.
We
for
accept
this,
liability,
yes.
okay. But, so we're hopeful that if they somehow choose that they need to do some work on that and they damage the sign, that we just hope that we'll be able to get them to pay for it.
Correct.
Okay. I have another question. Where's this money coming from, this $700,000?
It's from the Major Street Fund.
So this is, what other things can that money be used for from the Major Street funds?
Street-related projects, which include any road work, maintenance of roads, any road equipment, anything that has to do with road maintenance, road construction, road repair.
The kinds of things that Gretchen Whitmer was talking about during her campaign,
Correct.
fixing the roads.
Fixing the roads.
So we could use this money to fix the roads.
Correct.
Is there any benefit that we get from having this other than it being really pretty and making Oak Park look good?
I think it's a great tool for the appearance of Oak Park and getting people to recognize what we have to offer here. But it is a marketing tool, yes.
What I'm asking is, other than marketing, does it help with the integrity of the bridge in any way, or is it
It
just?
is not structural at all.
Okay, so it's just to look pretty, essentially?
It's an enhancement, correct.
Okay, and we're using money that we could use to fix the roads for that?
That's correct.
Do
What-
you know how many potholes we could fix with that money, by the way? Just curious.
Generally speaking, $1 million to fix a mile of road, lane mile of road, or a mile of residential road.
So $700,000 could probably fix about 70% of a mile.
Correct.
So with the money that we could fix 70% of a mile, instead we're going to use that money to put something really pretty over the highway, essentially, and market Oak Park and make us look good.
That's what's on the table, correct.
It's no secret that I'm voting against this as well. I think we're outvoted, but I'm going to be voting no on this. Nothing against you or against anybody else, but I don't think that this is an appropriate use of taxpayer money when we should be fixing our roads. Thank you.
What percentage of our roads would this amount fix?
Percentage of our roads, we have about
You said-
90 miles of road in
Right.
Oak Park. So, 0.7 miles of 90, so less than 1%.
190, 1%, yeah, okay. So it would cost quite a bit more to fix all the roads in Oak Park. So
What
this
percent of
is-
our roads actually needs fixing?
I don't
We
have
are
that
all
number in
fixing
front of
the
me,
Yeah,
sorry.
roads, So come on now.
All right.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, both council members make good points. Another way to look at this project and the way that we originally looked at this project, because we have already voted and approved this project originally. What we're voting on now is because the cost of labor and the cost of steel have gone up since this project was approved. We now have to improve this increased cost that we were not anticipating. But the whole reason that we pursued this in the beginning was this is an economic development project. It's increasing the visibility of our city, and the impact that it will have is that every single person driving 696 will see this beautiful sign that says Oak Park when they drive by, as opposed to the chain link fence that's currently there. So it's helped to bring attention to our city, show that we're thriving, and hopefully that'll help bring in more businesses, bring in more development, which will increase revenue that we can then use to later on fix more roads.
Amen, sister.
I'm concerned
does
more about
more
my
than just look
alignment and my
pretty.
suspension.
All right.
Because
Any
I
further?
digress.
We
Any
have been
further?
fixing the roads. We have a plan to fix the roads. So it's not like we haven't been doing it.
Are we ready to vote?
I think we.
Obviously, we're not agreed on this one. Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
It's going to be a no.
Councilmember Rich.
No.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. The next item is 12B, Assistant Deputy City Manager Kevin Yee.
Thank you. This is a report on bids for the pocket parks on Seneca and Sherman. If you do recall, back in December 17, 2018, we did open bids for the pocket parks, and the low bidder was $633,061.93. We requested to reject those bids because we thought they were too high. So we did rebid the project, and we did get, I apologize, we did have 5 bidders bid on the project. What we're recommending for, and the bids did come in, the low bid came in at $594,651.07. So it was about $37,000 less than what we originally received, so our rebidding did work. For this particular bid, I'm recommending that we go with the third low bidder, and the reason for that is it's less than a $2,500 difference between the low bid and the third low bid on a $600,000, nearly $600,000 project. The third low bid was for $597,123.72. And I'm recommending the third low bidder because they are also the bidder that is doing the 9-mile road diet that we're doing with MDOT. And that coordination alone is worth much more than the $2,500 that they're over in bid.
What is the name of the company?
Their name is Warren Contracting and Development, Inc. I have not personally worked with them. I don't know anyone there. OHM has stated that they have done these types of projects in the past satisfactorily to their personnel, and they recommended also that we would go with Warren just simply for the coordination issue, so we wouldn't have two different contractors trying to work side by side and doing very similar work or work that connects to each other. And I think just the coordination of that alone is worth it.
Okay. Okay, so do you have a proposed
I think we need a motion.
motion on your,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the recommended action, it's recommended to award the bid for the 2018-19 Pocket Park Construction Project M689 to Warren Contractors and Development of Shelby Township, Michigan, for the total amount of $597,123.72. Funding for this project is available in the Major Street Fund, an Oakland County grant, tax foreclosure, sale of city property, and the Corridor Improvement Authority for this project.
okay, is there a motion to that effect?
So moved?
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion. Councilmember Rich.
Mr. Yee, the two parks, am I correct in my understanding that the current budget for them, one of the parks is about 90,000 over budget and one of them is about 100,000?
Well, the bidding came over that was what it was over the amount that we had available. So the answer to that is yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have one follow-up question
Mayor
with
Pro
that.
Tem.
That money's going to have to come from the major street funds also?
Some of it will come from the Major Street Fund, and some of it will come from the other funds, as I stated, which we did not initially have as a source of funding. The Corridor Improvement Authority will provide $80,000 towards this project. The sale of the Kingston lot will provide $43,000, foreclosure revenue of $55,000.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
And I believe it's is it 1.2 million that we've received in grants for this project?
This project received $96,364 in grant funding from Oakland County.
Okay. And, all right, thank you.
The $1,188,169 was money, federal dollars, used in the TAP grant for the 9 Mile Road Diet Project.
Great, that's right, thank you.
Further questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
No.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Motion carried, thank you.
Thank you.
The people who object have good points. We thought long and hard about whether to invest in this or not. Felt that we spent 20 years not doing anything, just cutting, not moving forward. And we all saw what happened to the city. So if you're not growing your city, you're going downhill. And we have chosen
Madam Mayor, point
to
of
grow.
order. I don't believe there's a motion on the floor.
Thank you,
And
thank
so
you.
there's no discussion.
Thank
and
you, Councilman
just
Rich.
want to make that clear.
Thank
that-
you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on. Finance, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask our Finance Director, Sandra Crawford, to join me at the podium to discuss our resubmittance of our application for approval of our corrective action plan for our retiree healthcare systems.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. Before you, I'm requesting approval of our correction action plan for the city's retiree health care systems for the underfunded status. And on January 28th, 2019, the city was notified by the State Treasurer's Department of our corrective action plans for the retiree health care systems that we filed in November of 2018. It was denied. And as a result of this, in Section 10 of the Public Act 202 of 2017, we must resubmit a revised correction action plan to address the underfunded status of each of the retiree health care systems. And each corrective action plan, we must demonstrate steps that the city has already taken and projections to achieve the appropriate funded status. And so we're submitting a corrective action plan for each of the three systems, which are the Public Safety Retiree Health Care System, the General Employees Retiree Health Care System, and the District Court Retiree Health Care System. And the aforementioned plans attached, each one has a worksheet that outlines how we will reach this funding status by the appropriate levels of 40% by 2048. And the State Treasurer's Department will take this corrective action plan to the Municipal Stability Board for their review, and within 45 days, at their next scheduled meeting, they will render approval or denial of this said action plan. And so I'm requesting approval for each of the corrective action plans from the City Council.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this corrective action plan?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? City Manager Tungate, do you want to do some explaining?
Sure.
about
Just to piggyback on what Director Crawford was just saying, I have to think of these things in very layman's terms oftentimes, and just the way that I've come to understand this is that I think all of you know we have officially approved and submitted a plan for both of our pension systems to the state that has been accepted. That plan calls for additional funding to go into our pension system, which is our largest long-term liability. So we're finally taking this on in a big way. If you look at the amortization schedule of the pension system in terms of when we get to what's called this fully funded status, in about 2037, we begin to see our city contributions to the pension systems drop off, meaning we've met a point when we will no longer have to contribute such large amounts of our general fund budget. The majority of the plan to fully fund the retiree health care systems means that when those costs and contributions for the pension system drop off in 2037, or by 2038, we will make those contributions instead at that point to the retiree health care systems. And by 2047 and by 2048, for the systems, we expect to have them fully funded and off our plate. The state only requires that they are 40% funded within a 30-year time period. We're going to do that in about 21 years, I believe it is. So this is really, in my estimation, it's not perfect by any means, but it is our plan, realistic plan, finally, to get these huge liabilities behind us. And so the state rejected our previous application, I think primarily because we didn't have a amortization schedule from our actuaries at the time to submit with the application. We now do. Obviously, it's here in front of you in this packet. I know this is not a lot of information. I'd be happy to take questions if you have them.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Were there any other reasons given by the state other than the fact that we didn't have the plan and the amortization plan?
Well, by not including the amortization schedule, I mean, that's the primary justification for how we're getting to that at least 40% funded status. So it's a non-starter. It's not something we could have changed. If you look, these aren't page numbered. My apologies, too. These aren't page numbered, but on the General Employees Retiree Health Care amortization schedule in your packet, it looks like this. On the far right side, you'll see PA 202 funded percent. We have these in decimal places, but convert that to a percentage now. So you can see in 2041, it'll be 45% funded. And then you see it's completely fully funded by 2048. And again, that's well within the bounds of Public Act 202. And our pension systems, by the way, just as a reminder, will be within those bounds within the next 20-year amortization. And we're very proud of that as well, because City Council is disciplined and had enough foresight to additionally contribute over $600,000 on top of our normal annual contribution to get those systems on that 20-year cycle. Are there other questions I can answer?
Any questions on? Yes.
I'd just like to make a comment. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done on this. I know what a huge undertaking this was.
Thank you.
And the fact that we now have a plan in place where there wasn't one before is just amazing for our city. So thank you for that.
When I came in 2011, the then finance manager said we have this huge liability and no fund for it. And now we have a fund and a plan
Yes.
to get it funded. So that's something to be proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? No. we're ready to vote, I think.
Councilmember Rich. Yes. Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
motion carried.
I'd like to ask Director Steve Cooper to join me at the podium for 15B, please, regarding our fire trucks.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. Before you, I have a council agenda item referencing our public safety fire trucks and repairs and maintenance that need to be addressed. In this past August of 2018, R&R Fire Repair Truck Company actually conducted our Department of Transportation inspections for each of our 4 trucks. For over the past 20 years, R&R has exclusively conducted the maintenance and repair on all 4 of our trucks in the Public Safety Department. During the inspection, they found numerous issues that require immediate repair. This is mainly due to the age of the trucks. The National Fire Protection Association 1911 is the standard for the maintenance and inspection of fire apparatus. All 4 fire trucks had repairs listed which presented safety concerns, brakes, suspension, engine pump, some exhaust issues, etc. On all 4 trucks will need new tires. The NFPA and the Department of Transportation standards dictate that the tires be replaced on these vehicles every 7 years. And due to the age of engine number 543, which is 32 years old, along with the extensive amount of funds necessary to repair this truck, we're planning to decommission this engine and reduce the public safety fleet of fire trucks from 4 to 3. And that request will be forthcoming to this council at a later date. Moving on, the public safety received the lowest estimate from R&R Fire Truck Repair. They're located in Northfield, Michigan. The cost to make the necessary repairs to engines 541, 542, and 544, provided that we have no other issues, once the repairs commence, will be $39,934.08. And this price includes the $9,379.08, the cost of tires for 3 of the trucks. If other issues are discovered once the repairs commence, the cost could rise to $52,134.08. Public Safety sought 2 additional quotes from fire truck repair companies in the immediate metropolitan area. One is Apollo Fire Truck Repair, which is located in Romeo. Their lowest bid was $46,427.08. Best case scenario, worst case scenario, you're looking at $76,154.08. The third company, Halt Fire Truck Repair, which is located in Wixom, never provided a written or verbal quote. So I'm coming before council today asking that due to the urgency of these repairs, I'm requesting that you approve and authorize up to $52,134.08 to be expended from the general fund to cover the cost. I'm also requesting that we use R&R Fire Truck Repair Company to complete the necessary repairs.
Is there a motion?
No, we need a motion to approve this money
So moved.
to cover the cost of the fire trucks.
So moved.
And it's moved and seconded by Councilmember Weiss.
I have a question.
Yes. Councilmember Burns.
I recall, I believe we built something into the budget last year for 2020 and 2021 for fire truck replacement. Is this included in that? I know we talked about decommissioning an older engine, and we talked about making repairs to some of the older engines and budgeting for a new fire truck. Is this in addition to that?
Well, let me, if I could, Madam Mayor, address those questions. This is not related to the purchase of a new fire truck. However, it's something that we have talked about and included in the capital improvement plan, long-range capital improvement plan. My hope is that these are not expected repairs, believe it or not. Some of these are not expected repairs. But my hope is that if we do come back, and I believe the director has mentioned he's going to plan to come back with you fairly quickly regarding the decommissioning of the fourth fire engine, that the proceeds by which we gain from that, we can use to help offset some of the costs, unexpected costs here. These are funds that are going to have to come out of the general fund, unfortunately. I don't really see any way around it at this point. You know, if these were other kind of cosmetic things, I could see maybe, you know, pushing it off. But these are not. These are, you know, brakes and tail lights and tires and things like that. So these are not expected repairs, but they are necessary repairs that have nothing to do with the purchase of a new vehicle later on down the road.
Wendy, I didn't mean to imply it had something to do with the new purchase, but I clearly remember us discussing the new purchase and putting funds aside for repairs for some of the older fire trucks. My question is, this does not include that?
No, just to kind of separate the two issues, when I came before council last budget session and requested funding be set aside, we were going to decommission the fire truck that I'll be coming forward probably within the next couple of meetings to present to you. That's totally separate. To purchase a new fire truck, you're looking at about $1 million. So that being set aside, we had 4 trucks. So I sat with my team and we feel comfortable that we can operate safely and fulfill the needs of the community by dropping from 4 trucks to 3 trucks. So we're taking the 1 truck out of the equation. The 1 truck that we are taking out is, like I said, it's 543, and that's the one that's 32 years old. If we had to spend money to make repairs on that, you're talking probably $100,000 plus just for that truck.
No, I get all of that. I get all of that. I get all that. I'm asking if these repairs are something different.
These are different repairs.
Okay.
Every year, we have R&R come out and do an annual inspection. And because of the age of these trucks as well, none of them are really that new. So every year, just like a car, you take it to the shop and all of a sudden they tell you, all right, the radiator's busted. You go say, okay, well, let me fix the radiator. Well, come here, let me show you the brakes. You need to get this fixed as well. And this is a byproduct of having, you know, an older fleet. Every time you come before, you know, inspection time, they'll come and they'll say, hey, here are more costs that, you know, that you need to get fixed. And it's stuff that we didn't anticipate. Now, we budget every year in our public safety budget for repairs related to our fire trucks.
So that's what I'm asking. Was this?
This was not budgeted. These
Okay.
are separate costs, totally unexpected, that we don't have monies for in our general budget, that we're coming before council now saying that we need these repairs to be taken care of immediately, and we needed to come out of fund balance.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Let's see. Councilmember Weiss.
I just had a question about the potential high cost of $52,134.08. That's like a very specific number. I just wanted to know where that number came from.
Well, what happened, and I'm glad you brought up that question, when we had the initial inspection done, we were given an estimate from R&R, and they were saying that these are things that need to be repaired. So I immediately talked to my fire marshal, and I said, I want you to go back and have R&R come back out here, because I know how it goes. As soon as you start taking off a wheel hub, and all of a sudden now they say, this spring is broke. We didn't anticipate this spring being broken. That's going to cost you another, you know, $1,200. Or, you know, something else is going to come up. I said, I want them to go through, do a thorough and in-depth inspection, give me a best-case scenario. If we go through and we don't run into any issues, once we start the repairs, what is that price? And I said, I want them to come back out and take a look at it and tell me the worst-case scenario. So if we go through here and all of a sudden you take this off and this breaks or this pops, what are we looking at? I said, when I go to council, I need to be able to tell them what's the maximum amount of money that I'm going to need to get these trucks up and running. So that's how you had the 2 different numbers there. I'm not anticipating that we'll spend the $52,134.08. At least I'm hoping not. But I wanted you to be aware that if we get into these repairs, I don't want to have to come back at another council meeting and say I need another $20,000. So that was the rationale behind that.
Thank you.
Were you ready to vote? Yeah. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee back to the podium for 15C, please.
Thank you. Attached are proposed, and I would like to clarify, this is just change order number 1. It's listed as change order number 1 and change order number 2, but what it is they're change order request number 1 and change order request number 2, but really combined, it's change order number 1. So I want to clarify that. And payment application number 2 for the 2018 45th District Court renovation project, 684. The proposed change order is for revision of the in-custody meeting room through the period ending February 28th, 2019. The project is approximately 8% complete. It is recommended that proposed change order number 1 for the 2018 45th District Court renovation project M684 to Frank Rewald & Sons be approved for the amount of $651.18. It is further recommended that payment application number 2 for the same be approved in the amount of $66,340.37. Funding is available in the court building fund.
Can you explain what the in-custody meeting room is and why there is a change order?
Sure. As part of our Michigan Indigent Defense grant, which we're hoping actually to get this total portion of the project reimbursed through them, through the state of Michigan, but we're required to provide meeting space for in-custody folks who are waiting trial. So this is a room that we have built or are building out to house this meeting room for attorney-client meetings, private meetings. And there were some changes because we were actually putting it in a portion of where the new building and the old building come together, and the conditions of that were different than what they initially had thought. So there was a change to that. There's some deletions and some additions, and the net is an increase of the $651.18.
Okay, all right.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Can I just add one quick thing about this project? I do want to give City Council a heads up that we will have a quite a bit larger change order forthcoming. There was an area of the building where we were doing enough modifications that required adding a fire alarm to the building. So we did have to add a fire alarm that was not initially in the bid. We should have done it as part of the bid, but we didn't, so it was missed as part of that, and some additional access panels. So we're probably looking at a change order in the magnitude of $30,000, somewhere in that range. Funding is available for that, but I do want to bring that to your attention that we will be forthcoming in a future meeting.
thank you. Previews of coming attractions.
Yes. Not one of the better ones, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate. I know you've been busy. Next is call to the audience. Please give us your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Nobody? Got one? Nope. Okay. Call to the council. Mayor Pro Tem Radner.
Just by way of a quick reminder to anybody who's watching this, obviously tonight was one of those rare times where the council did not agree unanimously on how to proceed with something that's important. We're all up here doing what we think the voters want us to do, and we obviously each take that job very, very seriously. And tonight was one of those times that we didn't unanimously agree. I just want to reassure everybody who's watching this that the reason we don't agree is simply that we have differences of opinion, and that's called democracy, and that's a beautiful thing. So even though I was outvoted tonight, I still appreciate I appreciate the fact that I was outvoted, and I appreciate the fact that we're all here doing what we feel the will of the people is.
Thank you. Well said. Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and have a pleasant evening. Good night.
Councilmember Weiss.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that there is an event coming up on Friday, March 22nd in our community center in partnership with Oakland County Parks. I know Commissioner Quarles was speaking earlier about all of the programming that Oakland County Parks is doing. One of those programs is something that happens every year with the city called the Adaptive Recreations Swing into Spring program. And it is a dance that is for individuals who are 18 and older with developmental disabilities. It fosters a sense of camaraderie and provides fellowship opportunities for both participants and caregivers. So again, that is Friday, March 22nd, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Community Center. It does cost $10 per participant and $5 per caregiver. If you're interested in registering, you want to contact Oakland County Parks at 248-424-7081, or you can email adaptive@oakgov.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you. Councilmember Rich.
Good night.
Good night. Several things I'd like to mention. Someone in Oak Park was traveling and got exposed to the measles. And the Oakland County Health Department had an open house in one of the synagogues in North Oak Park. And I went and got a measles shot. I think the Oakland County Health Department was delighted because they can use the press. And measles is preventable by vaccination. And you need a shot if you have not had the measles or 2 measles, mumps, and rubella vaccinations. For children, it's 2 doses. It starts at 12 to 15 months. Adults born in 1957 or later should get at least 1 dose. And I was born a little before that, so didn't need one, but volunteered to be the guinea pig anyway. Pregnant women should not get vaccinated and need to keep out of contact with those who have measles. The health department is located at 27725 Greenfield. It's open from 8:30 to 5 for no charge shots. You can make an appointment online if you need to get in and get out. Go to gov.com/health. gov.com/health. The other thing that I did that was quite moving was going to a mosque service in Troy. And I introduced myself to the first man that I saw there, and I said, when the Tree of Life Synagogue had this similar thing happen, as soon as that was done, members of the Muslim community surrounded that synagogue to protect it. And I was so moved by that. And he said to me that his best friend was one of those people that surrounded that synagogue. It was a very moving prayer service. Unity against evil is our strength. So we stay together. Thank you and good night.